So you're thinking about building a new PC, right? Well, if you've been looking at parts lately, you've probably noticed something kinda weird. Prices aren't just high, they're actually going up. Today, we're going to dig into exactly why 2025 is suddenly looking like a really, really bad time to buy new hardware.
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow, isn't it? It seriously feels like the window for getting a good deal just slams shut right in our faces. And a lot of us are left just kind of scratching our heads, wondering what happened. The hard truth is, if you didn't buy your parts a couple of months ago, you might have missed the boat. Which leads to the million-dollar question, right? What is going on here? Why are prices for key parts suddenly climbing, especially when they should be dropping for the holidays? Let's try and connect the dots.
Okay, so first things first, let's really break down the core problem here. Because man, the timing of this price surge, it just could not be worse. I mean, how ironic is this? We're on the eve of Black Friday. This is supposed to be the time to buy, but instead of seeing awesome deals, the market's just decided to go in the complete opposite direction. Forget discounts, we're seeing price hikes. And we're not talking about a few bucks here and there. This is a real hit to your wallet. Take a standard 32 gig kit of DDR5 memory. A pretty essential part for any modern build. In just the last month, the price has jumped by $100. $100! That's a serious budget breaker for a lot of people.
So, what's the big bad wolf in this story? What's causing all this chaos? Well, it all boils down to the tech industry's massive, and I mean absolutely massive hunger for one thing: AI.
Yeah, you can almost think of it like this invisible giant, just quietly going into the store and buying up all the key ingredients before we can even get there. This insatiable demand for hardware to power the AI boom is completely warping the consumer market, and we're just now starting to feel the aftershocks. And if you look at it from a business perspective, it makes perfect sense. Imagine you're a company like NVIDIA or a memory maker. You have two options. You can sell a part for a regular gaming PC, or you can sell a much more advanced part for an AI server and make a way bigger profit. I mean, what are you going to choose? It's kind of a no-brainer for them. And this whole thing isn't exactly new. It all started with the most obvious target, our GPUs. The very same graphics cards that give us amazing frame rates are also the powerhouse engines for AI. Just look at the whole saga with the rumored RTX 50 Super GPUs. For months, the advice online was, wait for the super cards, they're coming in early 2026. But what are the rumors now? A delay to Q3, or maybe they're just canceled altogether. And the reason? It's pretty clear that all the precious VRAM that would have gone into those cards is being snapped up for those way more profitable AI products. Okay, so first it was our GPUs. Next on the menu for the AI boom, our memory. And yep, this is the main reason for those crazy price hikes we were just talking about. And look, this is not just some mild shortage. People are literally calling it the DRAM price apocalypse. We're talking daily price increases. It's not just hitting us PC builders either. This affects smartphones, laptops, you name it. Even NAND for storage is getting tight. Get this, SanDisk is supposedly booked solid all the way through 2026. That's insane.
All right, so with all this doom and gloom, you might be looking for a silver lining. And for a second, it looked like we might get one from an unlikely place: international politics.
So, you might have heard the US and China recently called a truce on tariffs. China even suspended its export controls on rare earth metals, which are super important for making computer chips. On paper, that sounds amazing, right? Like maybe supply chains could finally stabilize? But it's not the silver bullet we were hoping for. The thing is, the really high-end AI chips, like NVIDIA's new Blackwell GPUs, are still banned from being sold to China. And what's China doing in response? They're banning foreign AI chips in their own government data centers. So even with this truce, in a way, the walls are just getting higher.
So in the middle of all this chaos, how are the big companies handling it? Well, let's turn our attention to AMD. Man, they are having a weird year. It's this wild mix of huge wins and some really baffling mistakes.
I mean, on one hand, they are absolutely crushing it with CPUs. Just look at these sales numbers from October. Just 2 of their X3D gaming CPUs sold 16,000 units. That's 6,000 more than Intel's entire lineup, combined. That's not just winning, that's total domination.
But then, you get moments like this. They had this driver update recently that was just a masterclass in how not to communicate. First, the release notes were full of errors and made it sound like they were dropping support for older cards. The community, obviously, went nuts over the weekend. Then on Monday, AMD comes out and says, "Oh no, never mind, everything's fine." It was a fire they started themselves and then had to rush to put out. Just why?
And as if that wasn't enough to cap off a weird month, they're also getting sued. And the company suing them, ADIA, pretty much fits the classic definition of a patent troll. You know, one of those companies that doesn't actually make anything, they just own a bunch of patents and sue people.
Now, this is a serious legal thing that'll probably just end with a quiet settlement. But you got to appreciate the pun, right? It really does seem like a bad idea.
Okay, that was a lot of chaos. So, with all that as the backdrop, what are you, the person who just wants to build a PC, supposed to do right now? Let's get into some actual practical advice.
All right, if you're going with an AMD build, which makes sense with how good their CPUs are, the smartest place to save some cash is on the motherboard. The folks over at Hardware Unboxed did a huge roundup, and these boards right here are their top picks for the new B850 chipset. You get great performance, and you don't have to sell a kidney to afford one.
And here's the absolute key takeaway from their research. Once you start looking at B550 boards that cost more than $250, you need to stop. Because at that price, you could just get a much better X8070E board instead. So the smart money, the real value, is in that sub-$220 range.
So let's leave you with this thought. As this AI hardware gold rush just keeps getting bigger and bigger, it really makes you wonder about the future of our hobby, doesn't it? Are we heading into a new reality where we, the gamers, the PC builders, are we just getting the leftovers from the AI industry? It's definitely something to think about.